Yo, welcome to another episode of the Culturally Controversial Podcast, man. I'm your host, Simply Nicholas87, and my co host, TH.
Hey,
I've been
what's
trying
going
to
on,
say
good people?
it. And for all the new people out there that have subscribed to the channel, y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, um, hit your notification bell, let you know when we're going live or dropping content. We're still on the road to 200. We're at 164, so let's get these subscribers up for the end of the year. I want to do another giveaway because I appreciate you guys for even coming through and checking us out. So definitely tell a friend, man. We out here.
Yes,
Uh
sir.
let's get into today's first order discussion. Carolina ends their skittish losing streak this past Sunday, finally pushing it at 500. Um, what's your thoughts on that win? I know it wasn't a pretty one, but it's a win is a win. Take it any way you can get them.
Yeah, remember when Jay-Z said there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire? He said, I'm cute. Same
Yeah.
thing about wins. There's no such thing as an ugly win. So it counts the same. The beauty of the NFL, there's no football playoff committee or anything like that. So there's no
Awesome.
BCS or anything like that. All you have to do is just win. If the playoffs were to start today, the Carolina Panthers would have the last wild card spot. So we're still in the position to where we can make playoffs. We just got to take it one week at a time. Like I said, it wasn't sexy. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing. But at the end of the
Right.
day, 19 is more than 13, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we quarterback got concussed in that game, but
Hmm.
that's a part of the game. I mean, it looked like
Yep.
we minimized turnovers, got a decent pass rush, and ran the ball efficiently, and we came away with a victory. And now you got to get ready for the next one. The New England Patriots come to town this Sunday. We're more than likely going to be playing with our backup quarterback. We're going to have to simplify the game, stick to the things that work. So you want to be able to get a push on the line and run the ball effectively, and you want to be able to generate a pass rush and get penetration with your front seven. I think they're going to want to get this one for Gilmore, and I expect an inspired performance coming up this Sunday.
Absolutely. I think it'll be a pretty good dog fight. You got two teams right now sitting at 500. Both of them are 4-4 coming into the game.
Yep,
Uh, could go either way, like you said, man. I mean, you still got to play the game.
yep.
It's still got to be played in between the lines to the clock read 0-0 and end of the fourth. Uh, Carolina has just a better chance as New England in this one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be an upset in Carolina
I
because I'm
wouldn't be
pretty
up.
sure Carolina will be. They are probably the underdogs in this one.
Carolina's like maybe favorite by three. That wouldn't be an upset no matter who wins. That's both teams are 4-4. So and New
Yeah,
England's
but
actually undefeated on the road though. They beat the Chargers last weekend in Los Angeles, which was a surprise.
yeah,
But so like they play
we'll
better on the road than they do at home. So but
home.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Bill doesn't have a good record in Carolina. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but they don't play that often. No, they don't play. He only comes to Carolina once every 8 years because we play every 4 years, and so that mean on each other's field. So he only comes to
Yeah,
Carolina once every 8 years. So most time he comes to last time he came to Carolina was 2013 when he came to Charlotte. So I
me
mean it's
too.
not even the same team, not even the same group of guys.
Nah, but they won. Actually Cam won that one, and he won the one in New England. So
Yeah, in 2017. Yeah,
see,
yeah, beat him 24 to 20 and 13, and beat him
mm,
33 to 30 in 2017.
yep. So like I said, it'll be a good one. It'll go down to the wire. I don't think it's gonna be no one-sided game. So
I think it's gonna be a low scoring game too because two solid defenses.
defenses,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're going to block Judon though. He's a problem.
yeah.
If New England had any offense at all, they could have a Super Bowl caliber team. Because in that game, just charged the defense won that one for them too. That pick six was the difference in the game. So
Right.
if we can block Judon, at least keep him neutralized, we'll be okay. because offensively, it's not like you guys have a downfield threat or anything. So I
No,
think,
we don't.
yeah, so I think our defense will play well enough. I'm more concerned about minimizing turnovers and having a guy like PJ Washington who's a raw guy. I'm hoping
Mhm.
you can't have pick sixes or fumble sixes and stuff like that. You got to be able
Right,
to sustain the ground attack. Maybe even though he's mobile, maybe they could even run some design QB runs and stuff to kind of help accelerate the run game, and we'll see what happens.
right. So let me get into the next topic of discussion because I've been ready. I've been waiting to say this for a long, long time. Finally, they got over the hump. Congratulations to the 2021 World Series champion Atlanta Braves. They finally got over the hump after a few years getting into the postseason and having those. Especially last year, they had that big 3-1 lead over the Dodgers, and it's like everything melted down in order for them to make a championship run. But congratulations to the 2021 World Series MLB champion Atlanta Braves, and I am wearing uh, one of the classics from the memorable game from '95 against the Indians.
Yeah, my dad was on his deathbed when that happened. I was actually in '95. I actually saw them clinch it. I was in the waiting room watching it on the TV in the waiting room at Stanley Memorial Hospital in Albemarle. And
Mm.
I remember Aunt Ruth and Uncle there, my aunt and uncle from Albemarle, and um, coming in watching some of the game too. Uh, that's how long ago that was. That was the strike shortened season, I think, as well. But I mean, I don't watch
I think
baseball,
it
so I'm I don't really watch baseball, so I'm not being funny, but it doesn't really matter to me
was
because
yeah,
I don't have a favorite baseball team, and so we don't have a team here in Charlotte, so I don't really get into baseball.
gotcha.
The games are so long, man.
Yeah, it's
Like
long games,
I've never watched a
but
baseball game from top to bottom. When I watch a baseball game, I usually pick it up from like the sixth and watch it from the sixth on out.
congratulations to my boys, the Atlanta Braves, for getting that W. Uh, well deserved. Finally, somebody in Georgia has a championship
Oh
again.
wow!
I'm
Well,
sorry.
the Falcons are not going to win one. The Hawks are not, so I guess.
Yeah, somebody got to win it. We only have one team that could actually, but they're not from Atlanta, but they are 70 miles out. Let's talk about the first playoff rankings from the college
College
BCS. Yeah, so
college football playoff. Yeah.
yeah, we got number one, of course, is Georgia. Number two,
Ah.
Alabama. Three,
Uh-huh.
uh, Michigan State University, and Oregon comes in at four for the first playoff rankings.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I was surprised to see Oregon at four. Yeah, I know they beat Ohio State, but they lost to Stanford, which is
Stanford.
a bad Stanford team. And the thing is, if a team like a Cincinnati would have had a loss like that on their resume, they'd be buried for it. But
Oh
granted,
yeah,
you beat Ohio. I mean, Oregon did beat Ohio State. Alabama at number two. That's the Alabama bias. I mean, Alabama's good, but and I
they also
understand
lost
people.
to an unranked team, just like
Yeah,
Oregon did.
yeah, yeah. A&M's ranked now, but at the time they weren't ranked when they lost to them, and
Right?
they
Yeah,
kind of got manhandled by A&M, and they struggled against Florida. Florida team that's like 4-4 or something like that now. So
yeah.
a lot of us the SEC/Alabama bias because I could do Alabama being four, but I can't at two. And the thing is, I'm fine with Georgia at one. I don't think Alabama's going to get in because I think
They
Alabama's going to
got to
lose.
play each other. Yeah,
Well, if they get to the SEC championship game, then they're going to play Georgia, and I think they're going to lose to Georgia in the SEC championship game. Now, if they put a two-loss Alabama team in, and their other undefeated or one-loss teams, then it's just clearly Alabama
bias.
bias. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not supposed to be based on your history or tradition. It's supposed to be based on here and now. So, and then
we'll
for
see.
the Cincinnati Bearcats, like ranked in the sixth. I'm like, they went on the road and scheduled Indiana and they beat them. Then the next week, 2 weeks later, they went and beat Notre Dame convincingly At least they beat them 24-13 at Notre Dame. That's the only loss Notre Dame has. They still have Notre Dame ranked ninth, and Cincinnati went into Notre Dame and beat that team, and was never in danger of ever losing again. They controlled the game throughout, and they're winning by 2
Right.
scores. So they won decisively in Notre Dame, and it's like they're not even, and they're still not being respected. I mean, they can't help losing their conference, and they got good teams in their conference. SMU's in the AP poll. Houston is ranked in the AP poll, so there are two AP top
Absolutely.
25 teams in that conference. More they have more ranked teams in the AP poll than the ACC does. The ACC only has
They do.
Wake Forest ranked,
One
and yeah, and I could
10.
argue, yeah, and I could even argue because when it comes to the ACC, even when Clemson was dominant, the majority of the time Clemson was the only good team there, and everybody else in the ACC was no better than some of those teams in the Mountain West or the American Athletic Conference. So a lot of this whole power conference stuff is just based on bias and not necessarily based on the product that's being put on the field. So when you look at some of the other teams in the ACC, it's like if you look at the Coastal Division, Pittsburgh's the best team in the Coastal Division. They're not great. You look at
Yeah.
Miami. Miami's not great. They
Great.
yeah, they're 4-4. One like I watched them against Appalachian State where they just escaped from that. You look at even a team like Duke, they lost to us. They lost to Charlotte first game of the season. So if you're looking at ACC, I'm not seeing. That's why Wake is ranked no higher than they are. But
Yeah.
you know, a lot of this is it's about bias and history and cachet. I think that committee. I think sometimes they have an agenda because they like to stroke their ego and have power and show that you have to impress us. And that's not their job. Their job is just to rank the teams. Just rank the teams, look at the body of
Right.
work, and rank the teams based on the body of work. We don't need this agenda or messages to be sent or subliminal messaging and all that. Just rank the teams and be about your day. But it's always
Yeah.
politics and BS in those rankings.
So, of course, again, like I said, this is the first order of it. But like you said, one of these SEC teams is going to be out.
We think so. I mean, the way that committee is, it would not shock me if Alabama lost to Georgia and they go 10-2 and they still put them in. It would not shock me because
It wouldn't.
they have such Alabama bias. It's just like they just think that Alabama just is like their birthright to be there.
And then Michigan State, I'm not sold on them. That's a team that's probably gonna.
Well, Ohio State will take care of that for you.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's not sold. Oregon can win out. That's very possible, and they could probably
Yeah,
stay at 4.
'cause ain't
But
nobody in the Pac-12.
no, that's what I said. Nobody's in the Pac-12.
USC
But
is down
Georgia,
again, so
yeah. So Georgia and Alabama is basically going to determine, allegedly determine, who is going to be the team representing the SEC. Or like you said, we're gonna have two teams in the
yeah.
SEC.
And if Alabama beat Georgia, then they'll put them both in regardless. If
Yeah.
if Alabama loses to Georgia, then we'll see what they truly stand. Will they put a two-loss Alabama team in there? I would not put it past them. There's never been a two-loss team to make it, but
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
college football and not in the college football playoff era. But I put
Right.
nothing past them.
Yo, what up, Trey? How
What's
about
going
them
on, dude?
Braves? Yes, sir.
He shouted
Trying to
him out.
take the. Yes, sir. We on top of the mountain for this year. For this year. But I, like I said, man, I just got that strong feeling Georgia will. They will. They're not. Alabama ain't as potent as they've been.
This year aren't.
They're not as potent. Then
Nope.
it's been
But
uh they could be. I'm not saying that they are
I don't
that
think
they
they're going to beat
ain't.
Georgia. If they lose to Georgia, I don't see it. But unless the committee's just biased, like
Hey,
it wouldn't shock me. But if they lose to Georgia, if they get two losses, they shouldn't be in there. But
and
I
it
don't
wouldn't
put
be
anything
fair.
past the
And,
committee.
and and on top of that, it wouldn't be fair to what you got an undefeated Oklahoma that's still out here. You have Cincinnati that's still out here
Even Wake,
at 5. Wake
even Wake, if you're
Forest,
gonna go there, yeah.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So looking inside out, they're gonna end up eventually having to expand this playoff system in order to.
Even if they expand it, though, let's say if you expand it to 8 teams, then whoever's number 9 gonna feel like they should have got in. Whoever's number 10 gonna feel like they should have got in. So you still
Yeah.
you're still gonna have, because now you, when you get that deep into it, you're gonna be, generally speaking, now you got two lost teams starting to creep up. And I'm talking about generally speaking. And then let's say if there's a two loss team ranked number 10, but the last team to get in is a two loss team. Now the two loss teams below them go like, well, it should have been us. So it's just like with the NCAA tournament. You always have the teams complaining, oh, we got snubbed. There's 68 teams to get in, but number 69, no pun intended, number 70, number 71, they always that was a reference to the rapper 6ix9ine, just to be sure. They always feel like that we should have gotten in. So you'll never eliminate
Yes.
that problem. But I always said 8 teams. I said the five conference champions plus
Yeah.
the highest ranked group 5 champion. That's 6, and then 2 wild cards. That would,
Yeah.
there you go.
You had to eliminate the process.
You get the
It's definitely.
first 2 seeds get a bye. The other play
Yep.
it out, and lowest
Just go
remaining
from
seed take on the 1 seed. There you go.
NFL format. That's what some of them gonna be doing eventually after their college careers. If they get the opportunity.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why not go ahead and give them a early preview of what they could be expecting? But again, like I said, it's always been like this. I don't care what format you put in college football. Um, Even when they had the electronical, the BCS system. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really us. It's really no better than this. If you
Yeah,
think
only thing
about it.
about it, at least I think the argument someone make with BCS is like algorithms, whereas at least you got humans watching and evaluating and determining. Because like with the
Yes,
BCS,
it was
and
computers.
yeah, that's what the year that Nebraska lost to Miami, Oregon with Joey Harrington and felt like they got screwed because they were ranked number 2 in the AP and coaches poll, but the
Yep,
BCS ranked them number 3, and Nebraska was ranked number 2, so Nebraska got to play Miami
national
for
championship.
yeah, so that was
That was
crazy.
that was a screw me. It
And then
was a screw me.
the year that US that LSU won it, the BCS one, and when this was Saban was with LSU, they beat Oklahoma,
Oh
but
seven.
yeah, nah, they beat Ohio State in '07. That's when they had 2 losses, the only 2 loss team ever won a national title. They
Oh,
won it like '03 or something like that when they upset Oklahoma. This when Jason
mm,
White won the Heisman, and Adrian Peterson was like a freshman, but
okay.
they beat them 21-14. But USC was ranked number 1 in the AP and coaches poll. So LSU was credited as the BCS national champion, but USC was the AP national champion, which is why they said the USC won a share of the national championship, and they call them co-champions, which is ridiculous. The whole coach. There's only one champion. I
Champion.
say
There's no such thing
the
as
team that
co-champions.
right the team that played in the national championship game and won it is the champion. But USC still to this day they claim that title. That's the whole BS with college football. But that's another. At least with the college football playoff, there's a little more uniformity and a little more consistency with who's recognized as champion. There's more consensus with it now. So that is a better thing. Also, you got 4 teams competing for it versus only 2. So the
Right.
BCS was garbage to me. It was still better than the way it used to be before, where you just went by the polls, where the AP poll and the coaches poll, or whoever was number 1 in those polls would be the champion. If it was 2 different people, they'd be co-champions. Like 1990 with Georgia Tech and Colorado, where Colorado was the national champion on the coaches poll, and Georgia Tech was
Oh,
national champion on the AP poll, and neither one of them played against each other or anything. So that was a
yeah.
bunch of
I think it was a one
yeah.
year. I want to say Oklahoma got. It was either Oklahoma or Miami that got done like that, and
Well,
they
in
were.
1997, Michigan and Nebraska both claimed to be champions. Michigan was national champion in one poll, and Nebraska was national champion in the other poll. Because back then, up until 1998, the way national championship was determined, just whoever finished number 1 in the final poll. So after the bowl,
Yeah.
after the bowl games and all that were over, whoever just finished number 1. So, for example, Nebraska and Michigan did not play against each other. Michigan played in the Rose Bowl and Nebraska played in the whatever, I don't know, Fiesta Bowl or whatever they played in, and both of them won. I think they both went undefeated or both one loss or whatever the case may be, and one was
Hmm.
ranked number 1 in one poll and one was ranked number 1 in the other poll. you can very well have two undefeated teams for both of them. One's number one and one's number one and the other, and they'll both be credited as national champions. That was
Right.
ridiculous. And like you didn't even have any kind of structure or anything where you could have a matchup for a national title. It's just that this team could be playing someone else, this team could be playing someone else. That team loses their game, this team wins their game, they're the national champion, even though they didn't have to play against an opponent and where the opponent they were playing had was playing for a title. There was no game in place, no national championship games. If you played your game and if you won it and finished number one at Final Four, you were the champion. That was silly and ridiculous as can be. The whole bowl
Right.
game structure was a bunch of BS about money. But go ahead.
Yeah. I agree. I ain't argue that fact.
And
You
and
did
even
absolutely right.
and even and what's the whole fallacy about all this national championship thing? I'm gonna burst a lot of people's bubble. There is no FBS national champion technically.
No.
And what and I know you know what that means. So I'm going to explain this to people. The
Mm.
football the Division One has subdivided. You have the bowl subdivision and the championship subdivision.
Championship subdivision.
Yeah, or formerly known as 1A and 1AA. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, the 1AA/championship subdivision, they have an officially sanctioned NCAA national champion. They play a playoff tournament that's sanctioned
Mm-hmm.
by the NCAA, and the winner of that tournament is recognized as a national champion by the NCAA. The
Right.
bowl subdivision is a third party entity where the bowl subdivision is part of the NCAA, but the bowl structure is not sanctioned by the NCAA. Is the
Mm.
NCAA says this is the bowl subdivision, so your postseason is just a bowl structure. So you don't play for a championship. You just play in bowl. Your postseason team just play in bowl games, and there is no champion declared. However,
Yep.
they give the authority to the bowl committee, like before BCS and before they had like a bowl committee and all that, and which is now the college football playoff. They give them the authority to come up with their own structure if they want to determine a champion within their structure, but that champion is not sanctioned by the NCAA. So as far as I go, the BCS was not sanctioned by the NCAA. The college football playoff is not sanctioned by the NCAA. This is just the bowls committee's system in which they acknowledge the champion. And the other entities like the AP poll and the coaches poll, those just polls, the Associated Press and the coaches poll, none of that has anything to do with the NCAA. So if you ever watch a college football playoff game, you'll notice. Let's say, for example, if you watch Sam Houston State against North Dakota State in the FCS playoffs, on the bottom of the screen you'll see the NCAA banner. You'll see it
Yep.
draped across the stadiums, and you'll see it on the screen just like you see ESPN or whatever. It'll say NCAA. If you watch
Yep.
the college football playoff, you you'll see no imagery of the NCAA emblem. You'll see no mention of the NCAA in the stadium. You won't see their imagery, their emblem, or the symbol on the screen. There'll be nothing or no mention of NCAA because it's not sanctioned. So if you look at the NCAA record books, there are no national champions for the FBS/1A
No, and
subdivision.
like you said, the lower you get, once you get down to Division 2 and 3, it's just playoffs. You just play until there's a champion or whatever playoff system that they use is going
Yeah,
to
well,
be.
FCS has a playoff system where 8 teams make it.
Yeah,
Division two has a playoff, and of course Division three has a playoff. So
playoff.
FCS division. So like I said, of Division one, FCS does have a championship. Division two has a championship, and Division three has a championship. With and those championships, when you watch those games, like when you watch Valdosta State win the Division two or Division three title, you see the NCAA, and they hold the trophy in there. They acknowledge the NCAA Division two national champion. If you watch college football playoff or the BCS championship game back in the day, they won't say the NCAA Division one
Just
FBS
one
champion. They just say the college football playoff champion.
playoff champion. Yep, I'm
Yeah,
sure do.
the NCAA does not acknowledge any national champion in the FBS. If you look up on any team, if you look up on Wikipedia, look up any program, and when you look up their national titles, it always say claimed national titles. So like if you look up
Yep.
the Miami Hurricanes, it'll say like I just say 10 Big East titles. I have them in to have 0 ACC
Yeah.
titles, and then it'll say
Titles.
and then say claimed national titles, 5 claimed national
Claiming
titles.
national titles.
Yeah. Florida State, 3 claimed national titles. That's what it's going to say because they're all
Yep.
claimed.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, UCF claimed one a couple years ago, and people tried to ridicule them for it. But I said, but that's the same thing everybody else does who's ever been acknowledged as a champion in the FBS. It's just claimed.
All right, I tried to we're getting that too, man. Good to see a good bounce, a turnaround. Granted, we played Houston, but they're still an NBA team,
This
and they
so this is the
still are meant
NBA.
to be. Yeah, this is the NBA, and they're meant to be taken serious because we did come close the other night from losing. But shout out to LeBron for having the great fourth quarter,
He's hurt
dropping
now.
yeah, having 14 points and shot pretty good from the field. But we gonna get that figured out. It's gonna be a slow process. But like I said, probably should have went younger, but they went older. Sitting at fifth in the West right now. Uh, Still a long season to go. Yeah, I think we started out pretty good last year, and then got stuck into the play-in with the injuries, and so we're just hoping the injury bug doesn't hit us like it did
Well,
last year.
Anthony Davis is probably going to get hurt before the year is over. He always does. So he falls every time. He falls every
Yeah,
time he gets a rebound, every time he blocks a shot. So it's coming. James is
yeah,
out a week with abdominal strain, so he keeps getting. I'm get worried about him. He always get those soft tissue injuries now, and at the age he is and the mileage he has on his body,
got it. Yeah.
it makes me think this is going to continue.
And
So I
LeBron
mean,
hasn't really been, which he's preserving the body. He's been taking a lot more shots than if in past LeBron would just take it to the rack and do something outstanding. But he's been taking more of the jump shot approach to the game
yeah, well,
this season.
Michael Jordan did that. Kobe Bryant did it too. A lot of
Did it?
players, when they get older, they start relying more on their jump shot because they're trying not to take as many hits. So yeah, they're trying to preserve their body. I
Yeah,
I mean, I think the Lakers are going to be competitive. I think they're going to be in the hunt, but it's going to be a tall order for them to win the championship. We'll see.
yeah, tall order. But right now, as it stands, we are a game and a half out of first in the West. With I think Utah is in first place, if I'm not
Yeah, I'm
mistaken.
not really worried about the seeding as long
See,
as you don't fall. As long as you don't fall all the way down like to the seventh. If they're like the third seed or something like that, I mean, you can manage.
yeah, but once you get down in that 7 to 8 range, you got that. Excuse my French, it's fucking stupid play in crap.
Yeah, and I've already ranted about that play, and I'm not even gonna get into that.
Exactly. So if we can stay above water, which I count six, I'm okay.
This
Six,
cat
six
says
seed.
so. This cat says Soldier Boy the worst rapper of all time. I'm sure there's somebody worse.
Uh,
I'm sure there's somebody worse than. I say Crunchy
young,
Black from 3 6 Mafia.
young Miami.
I don't even know who that. I know that name from some. Oh, City Girls.
Yeah, Buenos
Yeah,
noches.
shit out here, man. Shit out here.
Nah, come on. Roaches and Buenos noches. I was like, okay.
But Crunchy Black from 3 6 Mafia to me is the worst.
I felt like
Overall.
Crunchy Black was more of a hype man. I don't really consider him a
But they
rapper.
let they
I
let
mean,
him
he did
rap.
rap. Yeah, they let him
I
rap, but I
I
felt he was
used
like
to.
more of
You
the
remember
hype man.
this? I used to be clean in my expedition.
Expedition.
A girl see me and she'll be
Should be
wishing that
wishing
I
that I
stop,
stop and
stop,
spit
and spit some
pin.
pit. And back in the day,
See,
baby, I just thought I would mention she got hot
got
like
hot
in the
like in the
kitchen.
kitchen.
That was horrible, man.
I definitely liked the song.
Hey, you remember on State Flight, like, "What's up, Mary? How you doing, Mary Jane?
Jane,
Since I have met you, girl, you ruined my brain. You
you
stole my
stole my
heart
heart
right from the
right from the
start."
start.
Oh, like, he was terrible, man.
I don't know that. Well, yeah, you're right. He should.
He
He
was
wasn't even on that
terrible.
list. And when I was doing that list the other day, I got to go back and actually find it. It was one on there that I didn't realize who it was till I looked the other day, and I was like, okay, now I know who you were. Remember I said black tie? I don't know if you
Yeah,
watched it.
I didn't they used to call Tyrese Black Tie back in the day.
That's who it was. I didn't realize who it was. I thought it was the guy from Murder Inc. Because it was a guy in
You
Murder
talking
Inc.
Black Child? That's Black Child from Murder Inc.
Yeah,
The
black
one that
tie.
stabbed 50
Yeah,
Cent. The one that stabbed
yep,
50 Cent in the club. And 50
yep.
Cent got a restraining order put on.
A protection order for who? I don't need no protection
Yeah,
order.
but you remember Irv Gotti them called Hot 97 and showed a
Yep.
picture of that protection order.
This is Curtis Jackson.
Yeah, with Black Child stabbed. Now, Black Child, I remember Tyrese, I think that was like his rap alter ego or something like that.
Yeah, he was horrible. I just
Yeah.
realized who it was. I was like, wait a minute. I kept thinking about it. I said, that name sounds familiar. And I thought, I was like, man, that's the guy from Murder Inc. And I was like, wait a minute, that might not be him.
I'm gonna tell
And
you,
then the other
R&B guy.
day, oh, you good.
I'm gonna tell you, R&B guy that can actually spit, and I know he's not a good topic now, but R. Kelly can spit when he rap. Like
Agreed.
on Best of Both Worlds, man. Don't Let Me Die with him and Jay-Z.
Yep.
He killed that track, man.
There's a lot of good R&B rappers. Hell, Chris Brown is a good one. The people don't realize it. I think Chris
Yes, he
Brown's
is.
he's a good
Yes, he is.
freestyle rap, R&B rap. I would say rap artist. He's a musician.
Yeah, he killed that. We Just Out Here Trying to Function with E40. He ripped that. And the song he had, Till I Die, he spit on that. That was Big Sean's song, but I'm talking Chris Brown was on it.
It's on it, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Brown, I've heard him rap before. Even on the album with Young Thug they did last year, that joint album they did together, Big Slimes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't do a bad job on that. Like, of course, we're not gonna say one of the all-time greats, but he definitely can hold his own.
Yeah, he can hold his own. I mean, he's better than Black Tie. Shit.
Oh, but yeah, but Tyrese had no. I don't know why he tried to. Well, even on his debut album, he would rap a few bars sometimes for some of his songs, and I don't know what made him think or who advised him that, hey, this is a direction you should go in. But I think if he had better people on his team, people who really cared about him, I think they would have set him down and had a heart to heart and be like, hey, Tyrese, I understand that you're trying to diversify what you're doing and you're trying to broaden your horizons, but I think it'd be better if you took that energy and focus that energy towards something else, because this may not be the most efficient way to use that energy. If I wish he would have had someone on his team that could have just sat him down and just told him that. That's not the best allocation of his energy.
All I want to say is they don't really care about us.
That's Michael Jackson. That's like 1996 Michael Jackson. That's like random as hell, Nick. Like,
yeah. I was using it for Tyrese Smith. Like, all I want to say is they don't really care about this.
Yeah, but that's something that he should not have done.
They wanted money. Shit, they still could have got money. Him just being an R&B artist.
Yeah. The rapping wasn't Tyrese's strong suit, and I'm glad that he didn't try to make a long-term endeavor out of it.
I'm glad The Rock. Did you see? I gotta tell you that the other day too. The Rock got a rap song out with Tech-9. Did you see it? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it, man.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It doesn't matter if I saw it.
It wasn't half bad. I thought it was gonna be garbage, but actually, Rock had bars. It actually shocked me. It actually shocked me.
Did you ever actually listen to John Cena back in the day when he used to rap?
Yeah. Well, Snoop Dogg produced I think he produced that song for him.
But one of the songs I used to listen to right now was a pretty good song by John Cena. It was on the You Can't See Me album. The name of the song Right Now. That song was decent. Like, I mean, like, legit decent. Like, I have it on my playlist sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, John Cena, we know that John Cena is not going to be the sickest MC to ever bless a mic. We know that. But for a guy that's not his thing, he's serviceable. I mean, he was serviceable on the mic. It's not. We know that he wasn't going to be good. He was serviceable, man. I like when he said, "Put another coat of wax on the ride. For a minute, put the beef and the gats to the side. Cause the track got a vibe to chill to. Enjoy life for 5 minutes, man. It's not gonna kill you." I was like, "Okay, Cena."
Well, I mean, hey, it's worth a try. Yeah.
He was serviceable. I'm not saying he was great. He was serviceable.
Did you see the Big E interview on
Breakfast Club? I posted on my page.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out that day. Yeah, I was catching when it.
That was a great interview. That was a great interview. Big E can run for office one day, man. He can. I wish he graduated from the University of Iowa. I wish he would present himself seriously like that on Monday Night Raw instead of don't be sour and all that stupid stuff. I wish he would actually, like, if they could turn him heel and make him like a badass tough guy who talks seriously, like a
they did that. They did it the first time when they brought him in. He was like
with Dolph Ziggler and stuff. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but he did come in as a heel though. And
he was Dolph Ziggler's bodyguard.
Yeah, and then he was
Kind of
dating AJ
like
Lee, and
yeah, with Dolph, yeah. Well, Dolph was with
yeah,
AJ too, and CM
yeah,
Punk ended up getting in real life. So
my man.
they still they still married. So Punk, he made the move. He
Horse
dropped
and
that pipe bomb on
carriage,
her.
horse and
Cameron.
carriage.
Oh yeah, I hope Cameron's on the list of worst rappers of all time.
He wasn't.
What?
He said what? No, he really wasn't.
Hold
I
up,
got
let
to
me give you
find.
a line. I do straight up
Um,
like Simon said. Hold up, I'm gonna give you some horrible Cameron lines. We'll just
I
start
got
off.
one.
Hold up,
The
I get the boosters boosted. I get
Tuesday,
computers puking.
Tuesday,
You get shot at, call me. I do the shooting. I
shooting.
do the recruit. I'm like, I do chicks straight up like Simon says. Open, you know what? Put your legs behind your head.
Behind your head.
Yeah, hold on. Here's another. You don't know about the cases I get. Court case, briefcase, suitcase, cases of Chris. I'm like, come on, man.
Kawasaki, Susaki. It's no
Dun, dun,
H.
dun. Girls, just wanna
No,
have fun.
honestly, he didn't
Girls,
make this list. I got to find that. I had the freaking. I wrote it down. I don't know where
she
I did
stay
the
in
paper
tune with
for.
Ma. She like, damn, this the realest sense. Kumbaya.
I
Kumbaya,
actually,
killer Cam, my lord.
I ain't gonna lie. I actually like this. So I'm
I
not
like the
gonna front.
song, the maneuvers, nothing new to me.
I actually like the Kanye West one too. The
Canary Burgundy, call them lemon
mm,
red. Yellow diamonds in my
diamonds
ear,
in
call them
the
lemon
call them
head.
lemon heads.
Lemon head in the bed, ice like Winnipeg, Gemstone, Flintstone, you can set a
So so
friends for Fred.
who would you take? Would you take? Let me ask you this: would you take Cameron or would you take Silk the Shocker?
I absolutely something shocking. Like that's back when him and Master P and stuff. Like I
Yeah,
said, I get it how I live, even though I don't get it right or something like that. You remember Just Be Straight with Me? He was off beat all the time, but
yeah, he's
I
definitely
could
off
deal with
beat.
him.
I
Like
mean,
Just Be Straight was a good song. With Justin Showers on the hook, you see young Beyonce and Kelly and Latoya and Latavia in the background of the video. But
yep.
what he said? He said, hold up, something about I get it how I live, but I don't get it right, or something like that. But everybody know who he is. Let know what Silk Shock and Master P did, because there ain't no limit. You know, he like it's one of those things where it's broken, but I can still put the pieces together.
Yeah, it's the music is there. He's just he's not putting it. The beat's
Like
not with the lyrics.
yeah, it's
I would put it
broken,
that way.
but I can still jam it in. I can put the pieces. I can still put the pieces together. Like I'm not anti Silk Shocker. I mean, I'm not saying he's great by any stretch.
Yeah.
I it's been so long since I even listened to since I've heard Silk Shocker. I'm trying to like
So
it
the
ain't my fault. Well, people tend to forget it ain't my fault. That was his song. That was not Mystical song.
mystical
That
song,
was
yeah, that really,
that was Silk
yeah, it was on
Shocker's
his
song.
album. That was on the Made Man album. I
Yeah,
think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mystical was the feature on it. Then they did the remix where Mystical doing it. Did I do that like Steve Urkel and all that? But it ain't my fault was Mystical. I mean, it was Silk the Shocker
So the
song. That's his big
Shockers.
to me. That's his biggest hit. And that song is a hit, like a generational hit. Like even now, everybody know that. Oh, it ain't my fault.
My fault. Did I do
It
that?
ain't my fault. And that
Did
was the
I
actual,
do that?
and that was the remix where he was doing that. Did I do that part on it? The original didn't have that on there. The beat was different too. There
I
it
think the
is
beat was actually faster on
on the,
the
the remix. Yeah,
mix. Yeah, it
I'm
was a
about
little
my
bit
meat and
faster.
potatoes. Yeah, I remember. I
Uh,
like Mystical too. I like Mystical too.
so guess who?
No, you have to
So,
take me because I get my damn self.
so guess who made
Who
the list? In my
made it?
and it's two of them that I didn't think that should have been on the list. One, I don't think Ludacris should have been on that list.
Nah, Ludacris is not bad.
Thank you. I was trying to say that when I was talking about. We had a whole debate about.
He's not.
I
Man, don't
didn't
get me
like.
wrong. He's not the goat or anything, but he's not bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Ludacris.
I wouldn't put him on a worst all time rapper list.
No, I think he's fine. Like when I say he's solid, like there's like it ain't like he gonna say something that's gonna be like, oh man, that was sick. But at the same time, it's not like you're gonna be like, what was that? He's fine. Like
Yeah,
he's solid. Like he's solid. There's nothing wrong with Ludacris.
exactly. That's what I tried to give. But they put him on the list. They also had Now, this you might agree with that one, but they actually had Magoo on the list. I don't
No,
think he could.
I think Magoo can spit.
Yeah,
Girl, my
thank you.
persona was sure like Sonny Bono.
Sonny Bono.
Me, Mac, and Timbo.
I was
And just
like,
in case you want to know, the bird is the word. The bird. The bird is the word.
Magoo is one of those rappers like Pusha T's brother. Like he doesn't get enough credit.
Malice.
Yeah,
You talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like with the
He does.
Timbaland Magoo tracks, to me, of course, Timbaland's a great producer and composer, but lyrically,
Yep,
Magoo carried those songs. Like Up
he
Jumps the
did.
Boogie, Love to Love
Biggie.
You. He carried because back then Timbaland didn't hardly rap at all, and his voice was so faint on the however he used his microphone. So
He
like
was like the ad lib guy. Like if you put him in a song
yeah,
with like Magoo, Missy, and
because
he'll
like
pop
with
up.
like even like Love to Love It, he like here got that big back of Huna, something with the silver spoon. And like he ain't even saying a whole lot, but Magoo's verse was longer than both of Timbaland's verses together. Like
Yeah,
that joint
Boogie
there's a lot of
Nights.
songs because they did several albums together, and I
They
always
did
thought I thought
indecent
Magoo's
proportion.
I thought Magoo's one of the is I think Magoo's one of the better rappers actually.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was like, how he was actually number one on the list, and I was like, how is this even possible? I don't know
Whoever
who
did
made
that,
this list.
I wonder how old this person did this. What the like? But anyway, go ahead. That to me, that's laughable. I think Magoo's in his era was one of the better rappers.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he was a Timbaland with a bigger name. But to me, for those Timbaland Magoo albums, Magoo was the one that carried
Magoo
the weight
was,
on it. Timbaland handled the production and all that. But as far as
but Magoo was that
lyrically,
was
Magoo
Magoo.
carried the lyrical weight of those albums.
And let me tell you, and Magoo is from that Virginia area where it was a lot of good
Two
rappers.
up, two down. Well, so is Timbaland
Yep,
too. They all from the Toward
yep,
area, from Missy and all
yep,
that from Norfolk.
yep,
That's what the clips from Pusha and Malice. They're from Norfolk.
yep. That's what I'm saying. Chris Brown is from I know he's from Virginia. I don't know
He,
exactly what
he,
part he was.
yes, so is Trey Songz too. Trey
Yep.
Songz from
Well,
Petersburg though.
hell,
D-
Pharrell Williams is from
yeah,
yep.
D'Angelo from Virginia. So
Yep. That's what I said. It was a lot of good music coming out of that area. And Magoo is you can't not put Magoo in that list of him, being a
Magoo's
good
very
rapper at his time. He is a good rapper.
Magoo's yeah, very good rapper. That's silly. Who else is on there? Like this is already losing credibility to where I don't even want to dignify the discussion. But
They
what
had a
else you got
couple,
on that?
talk about that's far on that list.
Yeah,
It was I can't actually find the list, but I do remember the names that were on there. They had 21 Savage, which he was at the last, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Uh, Tony Ayo was on there, and I had kind of mixed
yeah.
emotions with that one.
Well, Tony
Mixtape
Hill is
Tony
just
Ayo.
he's a hype. He's a hype man. Now who's oh yeah, the comment dude said when he was saying he was telling he was talking about Big E, not Cameron. Good shot.
Oh
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
okay, I'm with you now, my man. Um, Tony Yayo's a hype man though. I mean, Tony Yayo's like on that Flavor Flav type vibe in the sense of what Flavor Flav was to Chuck D. I mean, that's kind
see,
of what Tony Yayo is to 50 Cent. Like I don't think, but
his
even
face.
but he's not like god awful or nothing. I mean, he's Tony Yayo's alright. I
All
thought
right,
he's
yeah,
alright. Yeah,
they
alright.
had they had Cassidy on the list.
What?
Yeah, he was on that
Cassidy?
list.
Cass, no, don't get me wrong. Cassidy's overrated when it comes to battle rap, and I've listened to some of his battles and stuff. He's not nearly as good as people hype him up to be as a battle rapper. But, and I don't know if that's after he was in that bad car wreck or what. But to say he's one of the worst rappers, nah, he could
They
spit.
they had them two on there. Yep, exactly
BBC on
right.
Freeway,
Thank you.
Philadelphia Free. Come on,
They
nah, that's
they
a
and look, and guess who else? They had Memphis Bleak on there. Memphis Bleak was actually a decent rapper before he
he
just
could
went
spit. It's been
away.
so long. Yeah, it just went away. I just like the
Yeah,
joint he
he
had
went
called Around
away.
Here.
Yep.
That song Around Here with
Right.
Trick Daddy and T.I.
And
Yeah,
that's what I'm
Trick Daddy
saying,
killed
like,
it. How the hell but it snowed down here.
but you
But
can't put them two on that list. Benny Siegel and
nah,
Freeway, that's state property.
I can feel it in the air. I used to love
Yeah.
Change. I used to love Change Gonna Come by Beanie Sigel too. That was a good
Yep.
song.
Who else
This
was on that
lifestyle, could you
list?
really afford it? You just lost 4 lives, yours and the 3 you aborted. Though it's hard in this ghetto, don't you let go, cause the
Of course,
change gonna
Nick
come.
Cannon was on that list.
He's not bad either. I know people look at him as this silly Nickelodeon type character that was married to Mariah Carey, but he can spit that gigolo joint. I'm only got one night from out of town. Tell me, baby, are you down? If you listen to the song Gigolo, he killed that joint, man. He said, I'm a grown man, not B2K. So if I need a girlfriend, it won't be today. Not
Dang.
trying to be your man. Pit bones in my body, rock them like lottie dottie. You remember that joint? I'm a gigolo, living lots of dough.
Gigolo.
Yeah, that was a good song. Always surrounded by so many hoes.
Many hoes.
That was another verse he said in that.
I
The
thought
second verse was up when he was like, through your dress, I can see your drawers because I'm not trying to be your man. Pit bones in my body, rock them like lottie dottie. I was like, he was no bad rapper, man. Nick Cannon.
they also had well, I think he should have been on there. I don't really care for French Montana.
I, I'm not crazy about him. I think he's just a guy. I mean,
Yeah,
he knows how to make deep songs get radio play, but as far as a pure rapper, there's nothing special about him.
I wish I could find it. I don't know what I did with that paper. It was on another tablet. I do know that. I got to find that tablet, but I'll look for it and I'll send it to you. I know when I wrote it down, it was 50 of them. I just don't
Hold
remember
on, I
exactly.
got another Nick Cannon verse. I'm busy on
Uh,
tour, man. You busy on the floor, man. I used to know that whole song.
Damn it. I think where did I put that list?
I'm a gigolo, I was on the go. I don't know no other song by Nick Cannon, but that was a good song.
It was a real the list was just I don't know. Whoever made the list was I don't know. I don't think they knew what they were talking about, but
Cause there's
they
plenty of
have
bad
something.
rappers. There's plenty of
I don't
bad rappers we can come up with.
Kels was on that song too. Yeah, Kels, Kels, yeah.
Yeah. Kel's been on a lot of hits.
Remember, Kels was on what was that? I know it's not rap, but it was one of my favorite songs with Kelly Price and Mr. Biggs, the Isley Brothers.
You know what's so funny? I was this social group I'm in. Shout out to
Mm.
Charlotte Soul Society. Shout out to you, Tracy. Somebody posted a post and they were saying just because you see a man and a woman together doesn't mean they're messing around with each other. I don't know why people like to say that. So I posted on there. I said, well, if you're not sleeping with her, what the hell are you doing with her?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So just call him up. You know that. Call him. This is Mr. B. How you doing, Mr.
Mr.
B? What the
Biggs.
hell is going on? What you mean what's
What's
going
going
on?
on?
Kelly's telling me that you're sleeping with another woman. Just because she see me with it doesn't mean I'm
I'm
sleeping with her.
sleeping
Well,
with
if you're
she
not
ain't
sleeping with her, what the hell
what
you
the
doing
you
with her?
doing with her.
I could be just talking to her, or you could be just creeping with her. That
With
was like real though. They said if you're not sleeping with her, what the hell you doing with her?
her. Shout out to the Isleys.
Man,
Shout out to
legendary,
the
multi-generational. You talking about all the way from songs like it makes me want to shout, like from back in the
Isleys.
'60s, all
Oh
the way
yeah.
all the way up to the 2000s, like Contagious. You
And
talking about
we
generate?
me and
Go ahead.
Trey went to go see the guy in the chat. We were there the first October. We seen him live.
Y'all went to see the Isley Brothers. Y'all probably the youngest
We,
dudes who've been there.
no, it was a music festival. They was at like this. It
Uh,
was like a music festival in Atlanta, and they were
ding, ding,
performing.
ding, ding,
The,
ding.
and
Ooh,
then
baby.
and then the brother played the guitar with his tongue.
Which
He
one?
actually,
The ball headed one.
yeah, that's somebody who can play the guitar.
Ding,
I
ding,
think he taught Jim.
ding.
No, the other one taught Jimi Hendrix how to play. He taught who did he teach how to play the guitar? It was another black I think Rick James. I want to say it was either Rick James or
Hey,
somebody
I'm
in that
thinking
era
Jimi
that
Hendrix.
played.
Let's see if you recognize this Jimi Hendrix guitar solo. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ha, 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 life.
The
N,
NWO.
N, W, O.
NWO.
Ha, 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 ha. Is that where Rick Ross got the? Is that where Rick Ross got the Maybach music? Is that where he
I
got it
don't
from?
know.
That for life.
He's like, yeah,
Sweet.
good times, man, good times. Let's get
The
we're gonna
biggest
get let's
icon.
get
Go
to
ahead.
the let's get into the big part of the evening. I want to say this was last because I knew it was gonna be pretty size
Hey,
worthy.
do it.
Tomorrow starts the
Yeah,
HSAA football playoffs.
man, F them playoffs.
Of course, we's gonna say F the playoffs, but
Playoffs?
playoffs. I gotta get
Playoffs?
I gotta get that thing uploaded. I got it too. I hadn't uploaded it. I will get it on there though. So by the time we have our next episode, the time that word comes up, I hit the
What? I just hope we win
playoffs.
another game.
But yeah, they start tomorrow. A lot of they went back to the old formula format, as you know,
Yeah.
the
Still 64 teams, but just not the double A and the
double
A. It's
A.
just, yeah.
It's and from what I've heard, if your team has a COVID outbreak, you will be eliminated. So
Tough. I mean, tough. I mean, that's.
yeah, yeah, there you go. As you
You ain't got time
said,
to be trying to play on Monday and all. You ain't got time for all that.
no, you ain't got time for that. Of course not.
Some boys better not
And
be out partying or nothing. They better stay at home until the playoffs over.
we got some good matchups coming up in round one. Well, which is 1A. I'm sorry, I said 1A, which is round 1A. They actually got a lot of buys in this 1A from what I've seen.
I've hardly looked at it because
Yeah.
I'll piggyback on whatever you got for me. But just know that I
So
ain't looked at it one bit.
so on the East, Tarboro is number one, of course.
That's what Todd Gurley played. So I mean,
Yep.
powerhouse.
And they got the bye against whoever was 32. You got Southeast Halifax versus Weldon. That's the 16-17.
Todd Gurley ought to be able to go to that game because he ain't in the league or nothing. So I mean, he ought to be free to watch his boys. But go ahead.
Oh man,
Well, I'm not dissing. I'm just like,
you right? You not dissing? You being real? I can't argue. You being
go
real?
ahead.
You can. So we got if I hope I'm pronouncing this right, whatever,
Spell it.
Permaquis.
Spell it. Spell it.
Perquimans.
I know how to say it, but I just can't do it right now. So F it.
Uh, yeah, versus Northwest
That's not,
Halifax.
that's near the Outer Banks and that area.
Yeah, Rosewood versus Rocky Mount Prep. North Edgecombe versus East Columbus. Pamplico versus Warren. Northampton got a bye. Northmore has a bye. North Dublin versus Gates. Pender versus Lejeune. West Columbus versus Bertie. Southside versus South Creek. Kit Pride versus Jones Senior. Hobbiton versus Lakewood. Northside, Pinetown has a bye as well. That's on the
Oh, yeah.
east.
Shout out to Bertie County. My homegirl from college. I haven't seen her in years. Kendra Murray. If you
Mm.
get to this, what up? What up? She's a Bertie County alum. Shout out to Kendra Murray. Shout out to Bertie County. Go ahead.
All right, so number one in the West region,
Huh.
West region. That's a West twist.
The Wild Wild
West.
West.
It's wild, wild west. So going straight. Yeah.
Do the Kumo D version. Do do
Do,
do do.
do, do. Wild, wild west.
Uh,
Wild,
the
wild
Wild Wild.
west. West.
Do do do.
Wild, the wild,
I
wild
used to
west.
go downtown.
Downtown. Classics.
Yeah, yeah,
We got to have a classic. I gotta get Chill Time back up here because
yeah.
that
He could.
that
Yeah.
the thing we did with the breaking the generational from the eras of rap. We got to do another one of those
Yeah, yeah. I love that
because
chill
there's
time
more
off of
people
that.
that's another that was a good thing. We didn't get a lot of people in because with so many people from 80 to 90, you couldn't actually get them all in.
Yo, what if we did like a super show, like with us and Chilltown all combined for one show? We get all his followers and members, get all our followers for like one big podcastomania.
That sounds good. I'm have to run that by him.
Yeah,
I'm have
like
to
a
kick
super
him up
show,
on the
like
ground
our crew, like he call his friends, we call our friends, we all
and we
podcast and we be friends,
yes, we just have a big debate about
whatever.
whatever.
It'll be the super show.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna hit him up though about that. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. All right, let's get into the West region of this 1A. We got the number one seed East Randolph versus Roseman. 32 seed, of course. Drought. No, I can't. I think I said it wrong. The Drought.
Whatever, man. I don't know who they are. No,
Yeah, versus Elkin, which I think Elkin is from the mountains
mountains.
anyway.
Yeah, that's in the mountains. That's it got ilk in the name, so I feel like that's the mountains.
That Elkin just sounds ridgy.
Ma- yeah, some mountainy.
Mountain Heritage versus Albemarle.
Man, shout out to Richard Davidson Albemarle Bulldogs. I'm cheering for you, man. You taught me in 12th grade. Albemarle's right up the road from Waysboro. I spent part of my childhood in Albemarle. My late father pastored Union Chapel in Zion Church in Albemarle. Grew up going to Albemarle Bulldogs games. Rooting for the Albemarle Bulldogs. Coach Richard Davis, former Anson Senior alum, former defensive coordinator at Anson Senior. Cerebral man, a good guy, family man. Rooting for him. Happy to see his Bulldogs. They got off to a rough start, but they were able to finish strong and get into the postseason. Rooting for the Albemarle Bulldogs. Funny thing, Mountain Heritage, their opponent is located in an incorporated town in the mountains named Burnsville, North Carolina. The irony of that is that the Albemarle is about 15 miles from the Burnsville community of Anson County. So it's the name Burnsville will be familiar to Albemarle, but it's a much further distance. But I'm pulling for the Albemarle Bulldogs to go to the mountains and come back with a victory.
Shout out to Albemarle. Murphy versus Allegheny. Thomas Jefferson versus Avery County. North Rowan versus Bessemer City. Cherokee versus Cherryville. Robbinsville versus Winston-Salem Prep. Mitchell versus South Davidson. Swain County versus Hayesville. Thomasville versus Highland Tech. South Stokes versus Christ the King. Starmount
Hallelujah.
versus Hallelujah. Christ the King. Starmount versus South Stanley.
South still made the playoffs?
Yep. You know it's bad.
Good. Yeah. They didn't win by 2 games. Go ahead.
Yeah, they probably won a conference game. They ain't going in there though.
Yeah, man.
Andrews versus Bishop McGinnis. Wilkes versus North Stokes, and Mount Airy versus Union Academy.
Mount Airy, shout out to Andy Griffith. That's what he was from.
Yes, sir. And that's your 1A playoffs, not 1AA, just 1A. Just 1A.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. 1A.
So we're going to 2A, which we have Princeton, which is number one seed in 2A East versus Bunn. Eastern Wayne versus Kinston. We all know what Kinston's at.
Yeah, Eastern Wayne, that's near Goldsboro. That's where Manny Lawson, former State Wolfpack, former Buffalo Bill, he went to Eastern Wayne. But go ahead.
Nash Central versus South Onslow. South Granville versus Midway. St. Paul's versus Goldsboro. Roanoke Rapids versus Bartlett Yancey.
Bartlett Yancey,
James,
that's in Yanceyville. Go ahead.
Yep. James Keenan. We all know James Keenan. And East Blandon. Whiteville versus Camden County. Northeastern versus East Corrette. John A. Holmes versus North Pitt.
John A. Holmes, that's my homegirl Latasha Lee graduated, and Steve Lee, good friends of mine, they graduated from Holmes. They're coached by Paul Hoggart, former Richmond County head coach.
Yep.
Yeah, and I meant to say Jerry Stackhouse went to Kinston as well. So go ahead.
Shout out to Jerry Stackhouse. What we at? Cummins versus Green Central. Washington versus South Columbus. West Craven versus North Lenore. Wallace Rose Hill. We talked about them on a earlier episode.
Yeah, Albemarle used to kill them in the championship
game. Versus Southwest Edgecombe. Clinton versus Hertford County. And East Duplin versus West Blanton. Well, East Duplin's always in the playoffs, and I think they were 1A last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, I always hear about East Duplin. Like when I listen to G104 in Richmond County, they always call East Duplin score and stuff too.
So East Duplin's they go to playoffs. So
yeah, and they usually play a good while in it too. They're not like one and done. They usually win a couple games in the playoffs too, most of the time, I think. Because I hear that name a lot, so I'm familiar with hearing the name.
So let's go to the west of the 2A bracket. Number one, of course, Shelby. Golden Lions.
Golden Lions, yeah.
We know we hear them every year.
We know what
So
the Golden Lions are about. So I mean, you
yeah.
know,
So we got Southwest Randolph versus Polk County, Providence Grove versus Forest Hills.
F you Yellow
Um,
Jackets. I hope you get blown out.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't like the Forest Hill Yellow Jackets. Never have, never will. F them. I hope they get beat 60-0.
CS of Davidson. I think it was charter school of Davidson.
Uh,
Whatever.
I thought like
Yeah.
CM Punk or something.
Versus East Gaston, Hendersonville versus West Stanley.
F you too, West Stanley.
Yeah, if you two. Burns versus McMichaels.
With that dang on barn that you playing look like a damn rodeo.
I felt like that's where I was at Friday at
Let me
rodeo.
see you do the rodeo.
Rodeo. Hey
Rodeo
now.
show. Pretty
That was,
round, round.
that was a classic too.
Yeah.
A lot of people sleep on that song. We got Burns versus McMichaels, Chase versus Pine Lake Prep, Reedsville versus Randleman. We all know about Reedsville.
I used to date a girl from Reedsville.
We got Maiden versus Mount Pleasant.
When Maiden used to be really good, so it's good to see them back again.
Yeah, Maiden Blue Devils, baby. If you ain't heard about the Maiden Blue Devils, you don't
Yeah.
know nothing about
Used
that North
used to
Carolina
be
football.
man, he used to be coached by old man Tom Brown. I don't know
Yep.
if Tom Brown. I think he didn't. I think he didn't went on to be with the Lord now, but I believe. But Tom Brown, legendary coach, used to coach Maiden Blue Devils. Have
They
won
won state
championships in Maiden.
championships.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a football Friday night. You couldn't watch football Friday night back in the day without hearing about
yeah.
Maiden.
And then the dude,
Blue
Coach Brown, I
Devils.
was like, he like Delano, I love you, baby. He would always say that.
Him and Easy Smith, you always hear about
Man,
them two.
I could stand Easy Smith at Concord, man. But go ahead.
Where we at? Maiden Mount Pleasant. I think I was at yeah, I got Maiden Mount Pleasant. West Lincoln versus Surrey Central, Salisbury versus North Forsyth, Bunker Hill versus East Davidson, Monroe versus Lincolnton, J.M. Robinson versus West Stokes, Fort Brush versus North Surrey, East Surrey versus Newton Conover. And that rounds out the 2A.
Newton Conover Red Devils have won a state championship before too.
Yep. I think the matchup everybody's probably anticipating to look at is probably Monroe and Shelby. Once it gets to that far, if they get down to
Shelby,
the region.
Shelby kill them.
Yeah, I know. That's really gonna be the only competition for that. Ain't even gonna be no competition for Shelby. Honestly, they can run to this 2A so easy. Ain't
Still got to
nobody
play the
on there.
game.
Yeah, you got to play, but
But
the
they
name.
would be favored. Yeah, they'll be favored.
Yeah, let's get to the 3A of the North Carolina playoffs. We're going into the East. I'm gonna
It's
start
gonna
off with
be
Eastern.
semi-main
East.
event.
Yep, Eastern Alamance versus East Wake. Havelock versus Rocky Mount. That's a
We know
16,
what
17.
Havelock. We know what
Well,
Havelock could do.
yeah, we seen that. We seen that in person.
Pharaoh Cooper played at Havelock too, but we know what they can do. They have like Rams.
Yeah. Westover versus Vance County. North
Westover
Brunswick
3A
versus
now
yeah.
from Fayetteville. Okay, the Westover Wolverines. Okay.
I think they're in that same conference with 71st.
Okay, they used to be coached by the legendary coach Milton Butts. I think he's retired. Yeah, that's his last name. I believe he's retired now. He's coached there for many years. Coached Holt County for a couple years, but Coach Milton Butts is probably the greatest Westover coach of all time.
Coach B. Coach B. We're gonna say Coach B. Coach B was a great coach, man.
Coach Butts, Milton
Yeah.
Butts.
Is it with two T? Is it two T's or one T?
I think it's 2 T's.
But who see more butts now?
Oh my God! Brother Simpsons, yeah. Amanda hug and kiss. Yeah.
All right, we got North Brunswick versus South Brunswick. I'm pretty sure that's some sort of rivalry.
Rivalry gotta be same county.
County, North and South. Lee County versus West Johnston.
Lee County, FUN that click you claim.
You know how we roll. You know what it is. South Nash versus White Oak. Jacksonville versus Western Alamance. Hunt versus West Brunswick. The number
Western Alamance
370.
is a powerhouse.
Number 3, 71st Falcons versus Franklinton.
So they 3 and
Uh,
2.
Shout out to Anthony Harris, who's one of
Yeah,
the assistant coaches.
Anthony Harris, come home, man. We need you. We need some. We need some people on the staff. We only had like three. We only had like 3 assistants on the entire staff. Like,
Yeah,
come
and,
home,
he,
Anthony Harris.
and Anthony's been putting out some good prospects. He's coaching receivers, and from what I've seen, he put a couple of good kids. A couple of kids got notoriety right now down there in
Anthony,
in that
come
area.
home, Anthony. You're a great kid. I mean, great guy, man. Come home.
And they had an undefeated season this year, so look out for 71st. That'd be a pretty good matchup if they can get a hold of the Havelock. So I like to see that.
Yeah.
I like to see that battle. So we got Fike versus Williams, J.H. Rose versus Corton, Curtin
Rose used to be a
County,
4A powerhouse back in the day.
Curtin County versus my favorite place in that area, Terry Sanford.
The Terry Sanford Governors. Why you love Terry Sanford?
I just like the Sanford area.
Well, Terry Sanford's in Fayetteville. The
Yeah, I was
school.
saying. School, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're named after former Governor Terry Sanford.
Then we got West Cartier versus Cape Fear,
That's in
Southern
Fayetteville
Durham,
too, Cape Fear.
Southern Durham versus Scotland County, Smithfield Selma versus South Johnston, and Northern Nash versus Northwood. I remember them.
Yeah, Smithfield, Selma, and South Johnston. That got to be a rivalry too. That's same because Smithfield's in Johnston. Smithfield
Charleston
and Selma are in Johnston County, so they
County.
got to be
Yep.
a rivalry too. Hey, shout out to Whitney Sanders. She went to Smithfield, Selma. Whitney, Coach Whitney, what's up, my homegirl? I hope you're watching.
And
Shout out to you.
and I remember Northwood. I think we played them one year.
Yes, we
In the,
did. They're out of Pittsburgh, North Carolina,
yep.
about 15 miles south of Chapel Hill. We blew them
Yep.
out too, 40-7.
Yes, sir. We got on the Western region in 3A. We got I hate saying that word. Pisgah. Pisgah.
Who?
Pisgah.
It's Pisgah.
Yeah, I
Pisgah.
keep saying Pisgah.
It's the Pisgah Bears.
Versus
Different
Southern Guilford, that #1 seed in the West region this year.
We beat Southern Guilford back in 2013 in the first round of the playoffs. Anson County did 30-20.
And that's the year they went to. That's the same year we went to
The
Havelock.
Havelock, yeah, got blown the F out.
That was what? That was Luke. That was Luke era, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. South Point versus Eastern Guilford. We all know South Point. We hate South
The
Point.
Red Raiders, yeah. But Eastern Guilford, that's where Torrey Holt played, and his brother Terrence Holt. Good to see the school bounce back. Their school got burned down about 15 years ago. Good to see them back up. Shout out to Torrey Holt, future Hall of Famer, if not already in the Hall of Fame, at least deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
We got Irwin versus Forest View. I remember Forest View. We played them before.
Yeah, the Jaguars, they're out of Gastonia.
Gastonia, yep. Parkwood versus Rockingham County. Not Rockingham. Yeah. Don't get it confused.
Reedsville is also in Rockingham County, the same area.
Yep.
That's north of Greensboro.
Man, Parkwood got a high seed this year. I didn't think they are pretty decent though. I didn't think they were that high though.
They only lost like 2 games.
Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna be that high, but it is what it is. But North Davidson versus West Henderson, Smoky Mountain versus Hickory, North Lincoln versus West Rowan. Wait a minute. Come back. Okay. West Rowan. Chris versus Jesse Carson.
Shout out to Chris, coached by Nick Evans, Anson County native, Anson Senior High alum.
Yes, sir. Dudley versus North Henderson. Ledford versus Central. Yep. Ledford versus Central Davidson. West Charlotte versus Stuart Cramer.
That's in Gastonia. So short drive for West Charlotte to go to Cramer. I never dreamed that West Charlotte would be I never dreamed that West Charlotte would end up being a 3A school one day.
I didn't never think that ever happened either. I thought they were gonna stay 4A at least.
Even Scotland County being 3A school and stuff, all that kind of just weird. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, it's weird. These days are weird now. Yeah, what seed are they? Oh, they're 6 seed. Oh, Stuart Cramer got to come to West Charlotte. Well, either way, not a long drive.
Not a long drive.
Yeah,
20-minute drive.
Yeah. Kings Mountain versus Franklin. That's probably gonna be a pretty good one. High and Bright versus Freedom, and Concord versus Tuscola. We seen Tuscola before too.
High Bright and Freedom is short, not long, like a 25-minute drive, 30-minute drive.
Yep.
Morganton to High Brighton's in Lenore. So Lenore and Morganton are not that far apart.
And
Yeah,
then we got
Tuscarora and Concord, they played before throughout the years.
and Tuscola in the mountains, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
right?
we played them.
We played
Actually,
them.
in
Yep.
2016, I drove all the way over there. Me and Mike Brunson went over there.
Shout out to Mike Bronson.
Shout out to Mike
Bronson.
holding it
We
down. The King in Phoenix, Arizona.
We got Oak Grove versus East Lincoln and Statesville versus Indica. I like to see Statesville. I didn't. They got a good little seed ranking. I like to see that matchup when it gets down to. They can make a deep run if successful. So that 3A is gonna be up for grabs. Either side, honestly. But the matchup I would like to see on the East would probably be 71st and Havelock. That probably, if they can get to each other, that'd be a pretty good one. I see that
We'll
one really
see.
good.
I
We'll
like that they
see.
got rid of. That's the good thing about getting rid of double A and stuff, man. You got one true champion. You can see the matchups you always want to see.
Yeah, that's why I like this format better. You got to actually get your way in the playoffs. You got to win these games. You got a chance. Clear the fuss. We ain't gonna talk about that, but
Yeah,
clear
we'll
the
just see what happens.
fuss. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's get to the main event, man.
Let's get to the 4A. The 4A, everybody's allegedly favorite classification in North Carolina.
It's the main event. It's
The
the
main
larger
event.
schools. It's what the
Num-
larger schools.
we're gonna start in the East. The number one seed in the 4A is Richmond County, and they will be hosting Jack Britt. They played before for a state
Oh,
championship.
that's an old conference rivalry too.
Yep,
I didn't know Richmond kind of got the top seed in the East.
yep.
That's good to put them. Now they ain't got to worry about playing all them Mallard Creeks and Chambers and all. They ain't even got to worry about them unless it's in the championship game.
Nah, they don't. They got see let's go to
Most of the time when Richmond won championship, traditionally they came out the East, except '08 they came out the West. But most of the time when they
West.
won it all, last time they were in the East.
They like us though. They can fall in that line either East and
Yeah,
West, but
because
most of
last
their
time,
East.
just like last time when we played Havelock, we were 3A East. So
Yep.
and then we played 2A East and we played 2A West. So we've gone 4A East and 4A West. We've done.
West
We're right where you can do either or. So same thing in Richmond County.
County. Yeah. So they gotta let's just see who we got all in this East region. We got Leesville Road versus Holly Springs, Middle Creek
That's
versus
crosstown
Knightdale.
game.
Yep. We got Pine Forest versus Jordan. Hillside, but Hillside's at versus TH
Durham.
Conley. Yep.
Durham.
Millbrook versus Garner.
That's
Pinecrest
crosstown.
versus Pinecrest versus Roseville. We got
The Southern Pines.
Newbern versus Wakefield.
A
We
lot of
got
Raleigh teams in there.
Cleveland versus Chapel Hill. God damn it, hate this. Fuquay.
Freeway Arena.
Yeah, Fuquay Farina versus Laney. Shout out to Laney.
Michael
Y'all know
Jordan.
like Jordan. That's Michael Jordan's hometown.
Man,
Cardinal
it's cool.
Gibbons versus New Hanover.
Man, we get a Cardinal Gibbons versus Richmond County rematch sometime where down the line. That'd be cool.
Yep.
Cardinal Gibbons beat Richmond County in the regular season, so it'd be cool to get a Cardinal Gibbons versus Richmond in the rematch.
Oh yeah.
The Crusaders
got,
of Cardinal Gibbons.
Yes, sir. We got Heritage versus Clayton, Hargett versus Carnton Holders, Southview versus Sanderson, Southern Alamance versus Panther Creek, and Wake Forest versus Hope County.
The Fighting Bucks of Hope County got in. Okay.
Yep. They 31 seed. They in.
That's a weird number. So.
Yeah, 30. Let's go to the West.
They should have done like the NCAA tournament, broke it down into 4 regions, like 4 16s instead of one.
Yeah.
Instead of what is it?
They could do like East 1 or East A or East B, and West A, West B.
Oh, no, instead of 64, you could have done like West, Midwest, East, and Mideast. So like 16, 16, 16, 16. And then had the final 4 in championship.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, they got 32.
Yeah, the 1 through 32, and then 1 through that. Yeah, that gets confusing.
Let's go to the West. The number 1 seed in the West is Huff. of course.
The Huff
Yeah.
Huskies
Yep.
out of
Huff
Cornelius, North
Huskies
Carolina.
versus Page in the first round.
Walter H. Page out of Greensboro.
Yep. Shout out to Walter H. Page. Pirates, baby. Pirates.
Yep.
South Mecklenburg versus West Forsyth.
And we used to play both of them, Anson. We used to play South Met, the
South
Sabres,
Meck.
and
Yep.
the West
Smack them
Forsyth
around.
Titans. That's where Chris Paul. That's Chris Paul's alma mater. West Forsyth, the Titans.
Forsyth. Yep. We got a early used to be a. I honestly used to think this used to be a late round playoff matchup. We got Butler versus Malik Creek in
Man,
round one.
that used to be like getting ready for the championship, like the game before the
Championship.
championship. Yeah.
Exactly. That's round one. Butler's number
Which
eight
one?
and
Which one had the down year?
Malik Creek.
Okay, so this was like a down year for Mount Creek or something.
Yeah, allegedly. I think they still lost. They didn't lose a lot of games, but you know how it is in 4A.
Still probably
I
lost
think
about
they
3 or 4 though.
four. Yeah, they lost 3 or 4. Usually they don't lose, but maybe one, if
Yeah,
that.
and a lot of times that's an out of state game or something like against Dutch Fork or something
Four. Yep.
or
So they got them.
Burns or something
They
like
got a
that.
good matchup early in round one. Butler, Malik Creek, Asheville versus Davie. Asheville used to be a 3A. Now they moved up to
Yeah, they
4A.
for it.
Yeah, they 4A now.
The Davie
Glenn
County War Eagles.
Glenn versus Providence. Myers Park versus Mooresville. That's probably gonna be a pretty good one.
Should be
East,
Mooresville Blue Devils.
yep. East Forsyth versus Southern Guilford, Southeast Guilford. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ardrey versus Northwest Guilford.
Northwest Guilford. That's a baseball powerhouse, I think.
Yep. Hold up. Let me get my focus. We got Weddington versus North Meg.
Where did you win
Uh,
that? Kill them.
yeah, yeah. They had third. I think they had third seed in the on the west side.
They're
They got
4A too.
yep. Marvin Ridge versus Charlotte Catholic.
I know Marvin Ridge
That,
4A
that
now.
yep. That could go either way. That might be a pretty good one. Marvin Ridge ain't no
Who?
pushover.
Nah, but is Catholic a little bit down this year?
Yeah, they got to go to Marvin Ridge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they got to go to Marvin Ridge.
That's short.
Watauga versus
That's on like a 20. That's on like a 20-minute drive.
yeah, like right around the street. Watauga versus Cubberston. Cubberston made the playoffs.
The Watauga Pioneers. That's in Boone.
Yep. We got Northern Guilford versus Lake Norman. Hickory
Northern
Ridge
Guilford.
versus AC Reynolds. I ain't heard that name in a while.
Man, Anson County AC Reynolds used to battle.
Yeah, they had 2 good years when they battled too.
They beat us 17-0. Then we turned around the next year and beat them 28-0.
Yep, and they tried to shit it to that field.
Yeah,
They
Coach Fred Davis was coaching. Also, congratulations, Coach Fred Davis, for being elected to the Waynesboro City Council.
shout out to Fred. I give him a shout out. Shout out to Fred Davis.
All-time winningest coaching and all-time winningest coach in Anson County history.
Salutes to Fred Davis, man.
Great man, a great ambassador to the community.
He was the. I'm not gonna say he was the. It was Ed Emery, and then of course Fred Davis was the epitome of that the era that I know. But you know, Ed Emery was before me.
Yeah, Fred Davis, but the legacy of Anson County football, I'm talking about, and Ed Emery may have laid the foundation, but Fred Davis took it to higher heights.
He did. They have some memorable games. You know, the Independence games, the Chris overtime game in the playoffs in 2000.
Beat West Charlotte.
Charlotte 21-20 in Memorial Stadium.
Yes, he did. All that was under Fred Davis.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta look at those early 2000 Anson teams. They
could compete. Mid to late 90s.
Late 90s could compete with anybody in the state of North Carolina for a. I would argue anybody up and down that team outright should have been a state championship team.
He had a couple teams that could have won it, but back then you only had like 16 from the East, 16 from the West. It was a lot harder to win one back then.
Yeah, but that'll let you know how good those teams were that actually got in there too. And
true.
If you actually got in there,
back then you could go 8-2 and miss the playoffs back then.
Yep. And Anson has. I think after the years they went, they was like maybe they were 9-2 getting in.
Well, they were
no, 9-1. Yeah, 9-1.
They had some 9-1 teams, had some 8-2 teams. Like there was one year they went 7-3 and didn't get in. That's because it was so hard to get in the playoffs back then.
Playoff, yeah. Know what I said? But the competition level when they got in, it's not like they play these teams like now. It's not like you put that team in this playoff bracket now, they win state. Hands
19,
down.
in 1998, they went 5-5 and didn't get in. But
Yep.
they had a young team. Yeah. These days, 5-5 might get your home game.
Exactly. You got freaking West Stanley didn't win but 3 games and they in playoffs. But they won
That's
conference games.
yeah. We never. It's been a long time since we gone winless in conference. Never in my lifetime have Anson gone winless in conference. I know it's at least
Yeah.
been over. It's at least been over 32 years. So
The year that they actually had well, they had a few years with one loss, but the year that I could recall that they had a good run at it was the year that they lost to Richmond County at home and a nail biter 21. I think it was 29-21 or 28.
29-21. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 29-21.
that was and
I
if
was
you
up
weren't
there.
there, you missed out on something. That was like
It was standing room
that
only out there. And that's the most crowded
standing
I've ever
room
seen it.
only.
We were
Yeah.
both 8-0. We were 8-0 and they were 8-0. That's most crowded I've ever seen it at Anson. That's the most
It,
crowded I've ever seen at stadium.
they had to bring bleachers from other schools just to support sitting room around the fences. It was
Yeah,
just
it was. Uncle John said he's 60 years old now. He said he still to this day have never seen that many people at Bearcat Stadium
I
at a game.
I don't think I ever will see that many people there.
Man, there were cars parked all the way down to National Guard Armory, and
But
cars parked
yeah,
almost down to like Brazenton in the hood and stuff. Man,
yeah,
it was,
that game was that much anticipated. That
and
was
back
that
then,
what you
and back
call shut the
then,
city down.
and that Walmart wasn't there then, and one of the trees over there then, so you couldn't park over there.
Nah, you had to park down Anson High School Road, down the ditch
Yeah,
line, all the way to the
yeah,
armory.
yeah,
Back
man.
up this side. The
Man,
apartments had parking spaces. You had to park in the bus parking lot, the teacher
man.
parking lot.
And that apartments across the street, no, Middleview Terrace wasn't there either. But man,
Yeah.
I long for days just for that excitement and energy to be back in the program again, man.
That was like as a kid, I could just be like, man, that's all these people. And this game is just you. At the
Man,
time, I didn't understand the magnitude of it until
yeah,
I got older. Like, dude, I was at a historical game that people could probably you can remember this.
man.
This is probably one of the
When we're old to see now, we'll still be talking about that game, man.
yeah
And
yeah.
that's when like being a Bearcat meant something, man. And the guys who donned that uniform, man, they knew what it meant to be a Bearcat. Those guys didn't quit in games.
No, they fought they fought all the way to the end of that game.
In any
That
game,
game.
those guys all with those guys, they didn't quit on their coach like that.
No, they wouldn't.
And I mean, I'm be frank about it because um and Ralph Noah those guys quit on him this year. I mean, that's what they did. I mean, I don't care what anybody say. We saw it on the field. Anyone could get upset with me for saying it, but that group of guys quit on him.
CM, what's up, baby?
What's happening? CM Punk,
CM Punk.
HBK, Shawn Michaels, without this.
But yeah, man, if you were there to witness that back in '99, that was something special, man. That was
Yeah, like I
you
said,
can't.
even in y'all era when you and Sid and all y'all played, y'all were
Yeah,
proud to don that paw on the helmet. It meant something to you.
so
You didn't
it
quit.
it,
Yeah, y'all didn't quit. Y'all knew what it meant, the magnitude, the history behind it. You knew all of that, and you donned that helmet with that paw on it with pride.
we didn't take
There,
losing. We didn't take losing fairly well. Like
there used to be this thing called Anson Pride, and now it does not exist anymore. It was called Anson Pride. It was written everywhere in the athletic facilities. It was written on the goalpost. One of them says Anson, and the other says Pride.
hmm
And now it doesn't exist anymore.
it don't exist at all. And the sad part is, and I hate to say it like this, but as a former alum and player, it bothers me that they can go out there and so lackadaisical at times, if not all the time. Play these
Yes.
games, take these losses, and be okay with it. We defended the house. The house was everything. You didn't want to lose a game at the house. I didn't
And
care if it was Richmond County. You lose
now at the
every game at
house,
the house.
now at the house, we'll
It's
let
their
another dude
house.
come. Now we'll let another dude come in, bang our wife, then go to the refrigerator and eat our food, and then sit there and watch him do it.
Right. You absolutely right. And again, man, like I can't. it's I don't understand. Like it bothers me even with that. And then the whole tradition, how we come down and touch the rock and come back, and it's it,
And,
it to
and
me
right now,
it's like
The Rock doesn't even want to be touched.
nope. It's disrespectful, in my opinion, that this lackadaisical team effort.
And what bothers me, even with the fan base, we've got to the point where the fans have gotten so accustomed to this to where losing has become acceptable among the fan base.
Yeah, it's to the point
The
now you can go to
the, the
games
fan
and
base,
they'll sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna do that. They're gonna lose."
no, when the fan base makes excuses for losing, and when the fan base try to justify losing, and when you got people in the stands that are sitting there saying that this is okay, it's like the fan base have gotten so accustomed to losing to where they find it acceptable, and that is unacceptable.
Very unacceptable. And I'll say this, man. Again, it's got to be some sort of change because I like your motto. And I like Coach Jackson. God knows he's a good guy. He's a real good guy.
Very good man.
But when you put the emphasis on returning to dominance, you got to make that emphasis very strong because the people of the past take that serious because you're not representing. You're making the teams that in the past somewhat irrelevant of your day
Yeah,
now. So
not only the return to dominance, another phrase that the team has is CTC, change the culture. It's a good phrase. It's a good phrase. And when I say change culture, I know everyone's going to say, well, in 2019, we won the conference title, but we got screwed because of the situation. I get all that. But when you change the culture, a culture is an everyday way of life. Once that's embedded, it shouldn't be once every 3 years when you got a bunch of
years,
seniors. It should
right?
be it should be when you're
Every year,
competitive year in and year out. And
every day.
I was talking to Randy Jordan, athletic director. You were standing right beside me, and we were talking
Yeah,
about the thing about it. When you want to be a consistent winner, you don't want to be like, well, I got 30 seniors. I got a whole bunch of seniors. All my starters are seniors. So every third or fourth year we're good because we got a bunch of seniors. You should be. It shouldn't be that every time you have seniors graduate, you have to start from square one. When you're like, for example, Richmond County lost 3 Division I players over the last season. And guess what?
and
They're 9-1 and number one seed in the 4E's. You know
and they
why? Because it's embedded in their culture to be a winning program. Not only a winning program, but a dominant program.
and it just doesn't start there. And we've been attested to that. Remember when we went to the half lock game and the guy was telling us, oh yeah, they start this at middle school. The
Yeah,
plays that the guys learn
yeah.
that they played in high school, they start this from middle school. So when they get get to high school, this is
But
there.
then, but that's because the commitment is there. The late great Al Davis, former Raiders owner, his key phrase was commitment to excellence.
Since yep,
Where's the commitment to excellence? And that's on some of the parents of the players and stuff too. Like, where is that? It's like we see what other teams doing and want to know why can't that be us? I said, but do you see what the time and work they put in?
yeah,
So the thing about and I told you standing right beside me. I had this discussion with Coach Jackson. I said,
yeah,
man, how do you expect to be successful when you only got three coaches on your staff?
right.
I said you need about 12 to 15. You need 10 to 12. I about to say you. I said
You got to have 10 to 12.
yeah, and he said he tried to get it just when he lost the ones he had last year over the last couple of years. He tried to get others to come in and was unsuccessful in that attempt. But I'm like, you can't go into a season where you're the head coach and you only got 3 assistants.
Yeah,
You
you got
can't
to
do
at
it.
that point. You got to implement some kind of plan at that point of time because you can't run a football game with three coaches. Let me tell you that now. Because
Nah,
you're
because
not gonna have no kind of organization. You're not gonna know what personnel to put on the field. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of
and you
chaos.
notice and speaking of personnel, you notice I said like every play either too many or not enough men on the field. You risk someone on the field, right?
Oh, you
And
breaking
so
up. You breaking.
also with the preparation, I'm
You're
here.
breaking up.
You breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Now I'm breaking. Now I'm back. You broke
Okay.
up and I broke up. We're here.
Yeah, we're
We're
here.
reunited. It feels so good. Okay. All right, but like breaking up again. But like I said, with the personnel thing, when you running one, like I said, against Forest Hill, you still can't hear me. Can you hear me?
I hear you a little
Can you
bit
hear
now.
me?
It's still kind of. I hear you now. Yeah, yeah. It's still kind of choppy. Hold on. Let
Okay,
me see something. Good. Uh,
I'm fine.
I don't hear you. Okay. All right. Now we're good. I think we're good now.
All right. So with the personnel thing, when you're running, when you either every time you're breaking the huddle, you either got 12 men or 9 men or 11 men. I mean, you don't have enough men. Like against Forest Hill, there one time they walked out, there were 8 men on the field. You can't have that, man.
No.
And even with the
Not.
preparation, how can you properly prepare when you don't have a large enough staff to prepare the different personnel groups?
You can't
So,
because it's gonna be hard because you got one coach coaching every position on the side of the ball, and
and it's,
granted, I get it if you're a coordinator, but you can't do all of it at one time. It has to be broke down. That's how it works. Like when you go to practice, you go to your positions, then you come together, then you run through it. It's like putting a
and then
sandwich together.
and then the guy coaching the offensive line doesn't even have a background coaching an offensive line. So,
No, he doesn't. He
you
really
know,
doesn't.
I like Nelson,
And
come
I
back, man. We need you.
and a test credit. I know Nelson knows, and if to him, I think he. I'm not gonna say he saw it coming. He may have seen it coming. Who knows? I don't know. He may have seen something that a lot of them seen that are no longer there. Like it's crazy how you go from that one year where you had this roster of good kids, and then it's gonna be a rebuilding year. You know that coming into the next season. Granted that COVID situation, and then
Great,
everybody
great programs don't rebuild; they reload.
that part. So, but what I'm saying is, you had the staff getting ready for the reload.
Yeah,
You still had a good chance of making a run, but all of a sudden they just
you you went winless in conference, and this is not the Southeastern 4A conference you're playing in. You went winless in conference.
easy conference at that.
Oh, not a difficult one. Besides Monroe, I mean, you should have been able to beat everybody else. And then to
Yeah.
get beat, but that 52-0 loss against Forest Hill was the one that kind of was the
The
proof in the pudding,
definition of
right?
what the season was going to be, what it was, and how it ended.
Yeah, because they weren't focused. They didn't come out and play it all that game. And I missed the game against Monroe, but I know it was a bad margin.
Well,
So I
we
mean,
knew going into that one that was either going to be one way or the other, regardless if they was on the COVID holdout or what. You knew going into that one, you knew what you were going to kind of get into that one with
yeah,
the
you should
team,
have.
and
Well, Forest Hill scored beat you 52-0. That should have never happened.
that
Forest Hill
shouldn't
team is not
happen.
even
That
that.
shouldn't happen.
A
I'm
Forest
looking
Hill
for
team is
more.
not even that good.
I'm looking more for a 24 to 13 type game. You know,
Yeah.
if that, or Anson take off and get a good little lead, but not 52 to nothing. I've never known in the history since them playing Forest Hills that they've gotten beaten that bad by Forest Hills.
Forest
They've got beaten by
2002.
Forest Hills.
They got him pretty bad in 2002. That's been
Yeah,
long. That was a long time. That was nearly 20 years ago. But
let's go.
but yeah, to get beat like that, and
But
they just
at that
quit.
time, Forest Hills actually had a decent team.
Yeah,
Had
they're
that
very good.
credibility. Yeah, but
They're very good
now,
at the time.
but now,
They're not even good, and we just quit.
yeah, it's bad when the team that almost had a worse record than you makes playoffs.
Yep, West End's not good. West End's not good either.
That
But
was
we
second to
just
last. Yeah.
yeah. When our quarterback got hurt, I'm talking about Jakari. When he hurt his ankle, that
Yeah.
did us in that game.
So it was how many teams in that conference? Monroe, Anson. Uh,
Six. It's six, but only five played. Central Academy of Technology and Arts didn't field the varsity team, but it's
okay.
16, so only five played, which
So
is why
all four.
we went 0-4 in conference.
So it was Monroe, Forest
Every,
Hills.
everybody made it except us.
Yeah. And I said the whole conference made it except for us.
We finished
And
dead
they
last.
deservingly. I mean, that's it. I
I
just
don't.
blunt, you know.
I don't even want to keep talking about it. Come and get
Yeah.
pissed.
Hey, let your vent your anger, cause goddamn it, I'm a vent mine. I
Beating
want
a
been
dead,
wanting to vent
beating a dead horse ain't gonna change nothing.
it. That's true. I mean, I mean, it comes a time though. It as a former player, I wasn't a star, but I had enough sense to know I was prideful about what I wanted to do. I wanted to win. I didn't want to go out there and lose every fucking week.
Dang, dude. I
I'm
mean,
sorry. Man, teams like that, it bothers me, and it bothers me not because they're bad teams. It's that we play bad enough for them to make them look good. That's the
yeah.
part that bothers me. It's not the fact that you could lose a game. It's the fashion of how you lose the game. That's the part that bothers me. It's just like you don't even care. It's like, oh man, they up 21 and then we just might as well just lay down. Just lay down. It's okay. Hey, good game
Yeah,
though. Yeah, that's unacceptable, man. And
yeah, man.
I mean, even when the teams that we've had with Grooms and under McMahon, and I'm not even gonna count Luke, but them two, at least they did have a winning formula. We didn't have
Yeah.
a we didn't have a losing season.
McMahon was very good, and I wasn't even a Grooms fan, but Grooms did have a winning record as our head coach.
Yeah, even
I
after
can
Fred left, I think Grooms had one bad year, which was the year
first
Fred
that was the first year. That
first
was a
year.
bad. He inherited a
Yeah,
bad team,
team,
and then
and then after that, it increased. It got
yeah,
better. They
he
made
won eight.
playoffs.
He won 8 games 3 years in a row. So
Yeah,
and the
it
first
was in.
time that it ever happened, that was the first time
Yep,
that it happened. Where 3 years in a row. Because last
and
year
then
they went 10-3, and lost in I mean 10-4, lost in third round in the playoffs.
it was in contention for winning the conference every year. So
Yeah, choked a couple
it's
times,
just
but yeah.
yeah, choked a couple times.
That was a tough conference we played in. Dude, you talking about Kannapolis and Concord and all that.
Concord. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was just it wasn't like we playing the Rocky River Conference. Now that's what bothers me now because we came from the Southern Carolina Conference, the South Piedmont Conference, which was tough, and
It
now we're
changed.
playing.
It
And
changed
I,
that first year, I think, or the second year. It was the
yeah,
second
but
year, and
it was a couple. We played 4 years, and I mean we played several years in both conferences.
because
But what
it
bothers
was J,
And Jay Robinson was in South Piedmont for a while, but the point I'm trying to get to is when it's something that Coach Jackson said, and I don't mind him knowing this. I didn't like when he said this. He was on the interview with Chris Hughes, and it was the first year they were dropping into the Rocky River Conference. And Chris Hughes said, he said, this is a much better conference for you guys where you don't have to worry about playing teams like Marvin Ridge and all that. And Coach said, yes, this is a much better conference for us. You don't ever make a statement like that because because to me that sounds like you're happy to like you're running from competition. And I know he
yeah,
doesn't run from competition because he schedules stuff out of conference. So I'm not saying that. But when you make a statement like that, that's also that can come off as underestimating the conference that you have because no
it's
matter
it.
who go ahead.
No, I was saying it was like it's like undervaluing what you got. Basically, it's
Right,
like
because you're saying you're basically admitting, okay, now it's going to be easier now. So, and that can send a message that we don't have to work as hard, or we don't have to do as much because it's going to be much easier. It's also disrespectful to your future conference opponents because it's like showing them that we don't think of y'all as being tough. We think we can come down here. And the thing about it, we've been in that conference now 5 years, and we've only won one conference title,
and like I said, it
and two
can't
times finished
backfire
last,
too.
and two
And
times finished
first
last.
time with no
When we
wins.
dropped, when we first dropped down, yeah. When we first dropped down to 2A, everyone's like, "Well, Anson will be a force in 2A." It's just that they couldn't play. They no longer were able to had the numbers to play with those other schools like Marvin Ridge. It's almost like they can't play with the big boys now. They'll be fine when they drop down to 2A. They could be dominant. That's not what it was. We were just bad. Bad football is bad football, and now people are getting to see that it's still bad football. So you can't say that that was just too much when they were playing against those 3A schools because we
It,
dropped down 2A, and we haven't, and we've never won a playoff game in 2A. We've won them now. One time we probably would have had we been allowed to play in it, but still it stands. We haven't won. We've never won a playoff game. We've only won the conference championship one time, and we've only had a winning record once since we've been 2A. And this is our 5th year in 2A, so I don't want to hear it.
and as a coach, that answer should have been a lot more. That the answer was too. It was yeah. It was. I'm just gonna say it was too nice.
Yeah,
It was
very,
too
very much.
nice.
very much. And
Because at this
you
point,
know,
if I was the coach, did they ask me that question? So how you think? What you think? How do I think? I want to play any conference. I want to let you know that we here. We want to play
you
everybody.
but anytime you mention your opponents, if someone say you're still supposed to say this, like if they say this is an easier conference, you're gonna say, hey man, you can't underestimate anyone. Like anytime you line up there, anytime you line up to play, you have to take all your opponents seriously.
Yeah,
We expect to be a dogfight every time we go out there. I mean, that's all you have to say. Like no matter who
yeah.
you're playing, you got to be prepared to play. And going into this conference, I expect it to be a dogfight, and we're gonna have to play well. And we're gonna have to execute, and we plan on winning the conference title.
I
That's all you had to say.
I come from an era where it's like, bring them on. We'll play whoever. We've
But even,
beaten top teams in the state.
Yeah, but here's the thing: even if you're playing against Central Academy of Technology and Arts, if they ask you about your opponent, you're supposed to say, "Hey, man, we got to be ready to go. We're gonna have to focus. We're gonna have to execute. We have to make sure that we're doing things. You don't say, "Oh man, we're gonna beat them 70-0. They suck." You're not gonna say that, or that's an easy matchup. You're gonna say, "Hey, man, we know we got a challenge in front of us. We're gonna have to
Boy,
execute."
if they'd have had something and we'd have lost to them this year, oh,
Oh,
I'd have,
oh
I was
God, oh
I was going
Lord,
I was going to
oh,
heat the internet up. I was going to
oh
heat this
man,
channel up. I might have got this video clapped. I don't care because I was going to let it be known that you ain't got no business. No business. I get it. They're a football team too. But if they
yeah,
beat y'all like Forest Hills beat y'all, I'd have been
or they
pissed.
beat, or
Oh,
they
I'd have
beat you.
been
Period.
hot. Yeah, if
Yeah,
they'd have beat you,
yeah,
period, I'd have been pissed. I'd have
yeah.
been like, yeah, I would have been saying all kind of tirade stuff that would have been like, okay, you kind of went too far, but nah, that's just what the emotions were at the time. Probably, real, and they gonna stay
Yeah,
real,
yeah.
because if,
Well,
if that would have happened,
they got the off season to try to get things right, and we'll see what happens.
I told him I was willing to. I gotta hit him up though. I told him I was willing to help out with
Yeah,
with the uh, with the
hey,
conditioning part of it.
I'm sure he ain't. I'm sure he'll be open ears at least. I'm sure he'll at least hear you out.
Yeah, I know some stuff. Man, I'm telling you, they not doing the conditioning. Them kids ain't got no kind of
Like I
no
said,
no.
he's you've met him before. He's approachable. He'll hear you out. Like
Yeah, I'm
we talked to him Friday after the game. Like I say,
yeah
like for anybody listening to him, we're fans of him. We like him. Like
yeah
we want him to succeed. Like he's done an interview. He did an entire podcast with us when he was our guest. Um,
right.
he's a friendly man, a good guy, and we're fans of him. At the same time, we're still going to be honest and objective with our opinions on what we see on Friday night. So there's not any a personal shot at him. We're just evaluating what we see on Friday. We like the man and we want him to succeed. And I want him to succeed and succeed with the Bearcats.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. I just it just he's a good guy, man. I can't say
You
nothing
want
negative.
right?
You want him to
It's like
win.
this. It's like this. But the results are what they are. Those are just facts. I'm about to
Yeah,
say, and that just is what it is. So it's not that we're not anti him, but we want to win. That's all.
that's it. That's all I
And I
want
know
to
he
do.
wants to win too, but we got to find a way to make it happen. Eventually, if you keep losing and it becomes habitual, you know eventually what's going to happen.
Yep, you're gonna be offered
And
an
and
ultimatum.
and right, and that comes with the territory.
Yep, definitely comes with the territory of it. And again, man, we go see. And
We're
I'm,
gonna
I'm
see,
gonna reach out. I'm gonna
and,
reach out, and
and I'm
then
gonna leave it
like,
at that.
cause I can see things that most people can't see. Now I seen that evident when we went to the game Friday. Kids be winded, and it'll
Cause
be
you're
early in the game.
cause you're a former player, so you understand.
Yeah, like there's no reason you should be huffing and puffing in the second quarter. No
Blow your
reason.
house down.
Yeah,
I'll
but
huff,
yeah,
now puff,
puff,
now
and
blow
I
your
blow you.
house down.
There's no reason against that team. You should not be huffing and puffing, considering that all they did was just run the same freaking plays left and right the whole
Yeah,
time.
you're off a wing T.
Exactly. There's no way you shouldn't be tired. Should be you shouldn't be. It's just like whenever dude got hurt, it's just like that whole went out the door. It's like
The
they
ball
laid
game.
down. Yeah, they laid down. The game was still manageable. It wasn't even they hadn't even got 14 points. I think it was 7-0.
Yeah,
right?
and then even at halftime it was like 21-7. It's not like it was out of reach. Final score ended up
Nope.
being 21-7, so it just kind of went through the motion the second half.
Yeah, and
Which
the
is,
sad part is that they controlled the clock. They made y'all
yeah, and the
play
thing
to
about it,
them.
had we won that game, we still might have had an outside shot to get in the playoff.
Probably, yeah, we would have had a chance. It would have been a small chance, but you would have had a chance. But with no carpet wins, you have no chance. You have
Right,
nothing.
right.
It's just simple mathematics. You give zero, you get zero.
Yep, yep.
That's just what it is. But again, I'm not gonna beat this dead horse all day because we know what it is.
Yeah,
But like I said, people don't see the evidence. I see a lot of things that people do not see. Coaches, even the coaches don't see it. It's just not about coaching. It's about everything you're doing outside of football, conditioning, taking care of yourself. Those things are very important in games that you can possibly win later on down in like late parts of the games where you can come back and win those games and not be so gassed out in the first half. It's impossible.
man. That's like I say. He'll hear you out. Reach out to him, and he either gonna tell you yes or no. I'm sure he'll listen.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, man, it's got to start with the conditioning. I give you a list. I can tell you exactly what to do, how to do it. If you want one of those guys to do it, I just want them to understand that those some of those games this year, them guys were winded. Don't don't act, but I just think they were winded.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. But we at the hour and 46 minute mark. We finna close out the we finna close out congregation. We got chicken and green beans in the back and back there in the back at the church. I'm gonna give T the flow. Flow is yours.
All right, man. I'm trying to see if I got anything for you tonight. Yeah, I got something for you. We're at the halfway mark of the NFL season. Still very thankful to see the stadiums with fans in it. Happy to see that it seems like the season's pretty much going uninterrupted. I do want to mention one thing with Henry Ruggs, man. Whether you any people out there, we're all going to a lot of times we're going to have a good time. We're going to go out and everything, but get someone if you're that intoxicated, get someone to drive for you. Um, a lot of people talk about Henry Ruggs' career is over. I'm like, yeah, his career is over, but the young lady in the other car, her life is
Our
over.
life is over. Yeah.
Yeah, her life is over. So, and I'm not here to poo poo on Henry Ruggs, but it's like think of what you're doing, and to the young athletes out there, or and not only athletes but people in general, but especially them. Like the choices we make can have an impact on the rest of our entire lives. This man here, everything he worked hard for is out the window just because he chose to get behind the wheel after he was drinking and driving
Yep.
156 miles per hour. And I'm sure now he'll tell you that it was dumb and it wasn't worth it. Just remember when you have goals and you're working hard for things, don't undo what it took you years, months, and so much time to build up just over a dumb decision in 30 seconds. So be mindful, be careful, and let's not put people in harm's way. Just be thoughtful in your decision making, and that goes to all of us.
Absolutely. Uh, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Like I said, man, we ended the congregation. There is chicken and green beans back there in the fellowship hall. But again, man, I appreciate you guys for following through. Pretty good live tonight. Like I said, co-host D couldn't be in tonight, but he's always there when we need him. So
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro, for
Shout out
pulling
to
up.
you.
Yep. And we still we're gonna rock it 2 men, 1 man, 5 men, don't matter. We're gonna make something out of something out over here. We're
Always.
gonna we're gonna talk about what it needs to be talked about. I think we covered a lot. Uh, we got out a lot. Um, I think, like I said, if you are from the North Carolina region, y'all do know that the playoffs start tomorrow. South Carolina does as well. That region starts tomorrow as well. So this is the first time I've ever known North and South Carolina playoffs to start together.
The same. Yeah, 'cause usually theirs start a week before ours, I think.
Four. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, good luck to all the teams that are in it. Again, if you're a younger player, please be mindful. Stay put. You don't want to endanger your team's season by getting COVID and then putting them on protocol because they're gonna count that as a forfeit. They're not gonna replay no games now. This is it. So just be mindful. When you're going out on the weekend, make sure you're making the right choices because you
Be
could be that
smart.
number. Yeah, you could be that number one seed team and have a COVID outbreak, and guess what? That's it. Then
And
they ain't
don't be the person that costs your team everything.
right. We
Whatever you
we
do, whatever you're doing, don't make a decision. Not only with COVID, just in general, don't make a decision that costs your team everything.
Yep, we seen that with the Mountain Island Charter School. Went through the same situation Anson went through that year, and it hit them.
Yeah,
So a whole one fight can just end everything.
I
They
agree.
went nine. They went 9-1. They were ready for the playoffs. Tuned up. Get that call saying you're not eligible.
And a friend of mine, which you met her too at the game when they played Anson. I texted her earlier today to get some scoop on what happened. I think she was at the game. She said that Carver has been in several kind of altercations and that Carver initiated things. I said, well, same thing happened with us, but at the end of the day, we still got stuck. So I get it,
Yeah,
but that's the one where you still got to be wise
you gotta
and
make that
and
right
you
choice.
got to realize Carver wasn't even going to the playoffs. So that was a situation where you have to think like, hey, we have everything to lose and they have nothing to lose. Don't let my temper just because he did something. Let the referee just throw him out, but don't let it cost
Yeah,
you everything.
because you gotta think Carver might have been going in that game and like, hey, let's get them riled up and see what'll happen. Because then at that point, that makes you look like, oh crap, we messed up. We got into an altercation with a team that ain't got no relevancy.
Yeah,
No
but
disrespect, but no
they
chance to
used
get
to
in
be
the
good back in
playoffs.
the day, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they used to be good back. No, get twisted. Yeah, they were good back in the day, but at this current day, this
the current
time,
time, yeah.
they had no chance of getting in. You got everything to lose, and they had nothing to lose. They were getting ready to go pack their
Yeah.
lockers out.
So young men, young ladies, everyone out there, the athletes or people in general, just let these be examples of how one decision, one misstep can cost you everything.
Right, it cost you the world. But anyway, guys, we up out of here. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat tonight. Uh, we will be back next week, possibly. But just stay tuned. Like I said, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and we'll let you know when we're going live or dropping content. But we up out of here. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, be cool.
Yo.